Hi everybody, welcome on in. Crystal here, also known as Scoldsbane all over the internet. I apologize for having been a hot minute since recording. Stuff has happened. I don't know if any of you saw the short that I put up a while ago, but yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. For those of you returning, welcome back. Hi. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you didn't give up on me. Thank you. For those of you who are new, thank you for clicking and coming in. I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you stay for a while. This is going to be, instead of doing like a standard Flosstube or clean with me or let's catch up or whatever the heck is heckin' going on, I'm going to do more of a WIP parade than anything else. So for those of you who are not into the crafting community, basically it is a works in progress parade where I just show you everything that I'm working on, and it's going to be cross-stitch related because there's no way, there's not enough time in the world for me to go through this apartment and find every little project of everything that I'm working on. It would take days. I don't have days. I don't have the voice for days. For those of you who missed the short or have no idea what's going on, I started a new job, and 6 weeks into the new job training, the 12-week new job training, I had an allergic reaction at work on the clock. And I went to the nurses on site and they gave me medication. It is company policy to call emergency services. So they called 911 and both of the nurses were like, "We suggest you go to the emergency room for extra." And I'm like, okay, I'm going, it's fine. I'm going. So I went to the emergency room, and by the time I was released, you know, it was 4 hours later, or whatever it was, 3 hours later, something like that. By the time I was released, my voice was starting to go, and then by the next morning, I could not talk at all. Because I use my voice for between 6 and 8 hours a day at work, I have not been able to work since then. This is week 4 of a 6-week medical leave. This is going to be the most I have talked since the 14th of last month. So, and today is the 15th of May. So that's where things are right now. That's why I haven't been around, even though I promised to come back. I'm sorry. But I'm back now. So before I actually get started with the WIP parade itself, I do want to show you something. And I want to apologize to Jim because I got this much cranky because it didn't get shipped out in the time frame that I was expecting. But y'all, I am super impressed with the quality of the product. And you're going to be hearing a lot of, because I didn't take anything out of bags, it's just I need to move my hoop on the Hage Sow, and that was like, you know what? I haven't shown anybody anything. But I was on Etsy, and I went to Needlework with Jim, and I saw this particular fabric, and I went, I have to have that. My grubby little fingers. This must be in my grubby little fingers because it's freaking amazing. Look at this. Isn't that freaking gorgeous? I am so happy. So Jim, I apologize now for having gotten a little bit cranky. Thank you so much for being so responsive with your messaging as well and getting back to me as quickly as possible when I started to show concern. This is, what is the colorway? Under the Sea. It's a Lugana 32 count. And the modeling is actually showing mostly correctly. Obviously, it does have that sparkle in there, and it is, I can see it on my screen, so I'm sure y'all can see it on yours. But my thought, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it, was to stitch a project 1/1 on this, but I don't know if I'm going to, I'm rethinking that after having this fabric in hand, and I may possibly be reaching out to see if he would be willing to dye a full yard of this instead of the half yard, so that I have the full yard of fabric to work on for this large project that I have in mind. I have no idea why my camera is doing the focus thing again. I'm sorry, by the way. That's the thing. Crunch. But I will put the link to his actual website, because he has an actual website as well as the Etsy shop. So I'm going to put it to the actual website, because, you know, Etsy takes their fees. And supporting through an actual website tends to do better for a lot of people. So I'm going to link that. I'm actually going to take a note of that. Laura, Stitching by the Shore. Hi, Laura. Always has a pen and a notebook so she can write down everything. I have a pencil. Close enough. Stitching with Jim. And I'm going to write down Laura as well, because I did mention her. She is a huge influence on my stitching. Even though we don't have the same tastes in what we stitch, like the different projects, she's just always such an inspiration. She's always so happy, and it's just, and it's a nice refreshing breeze in the stuffy little apartment. Got that written down. Now, like I said, this whole reminding myself that I need to put videos out was inspired because I need to move the hoop on my Heaven and Earth Design Stitch Along project. This is what it looks like in the hoop. It's not the prettiest thing. It's all wrinkled and grody. It kind of all over the place, because I am using a hoop stand. It's just a simple clamp that sits on the tabletop. Let me go ahead and pull it all out of the hoop. All the wrinkled and unironed glory. Now this is where she stands. Now I will, as usual, be putting pictures up for things that I have digital patterns for. And also, if I have the paper patterns, I will be holding them up so that you can see. But that's with all the hoop marks and everything. I did not finish the first part of the pattern before jumping into the second one. The first part of the pattern, I was trying to experiment a little bit and work from the top right corner and come in this way, doing the diagonals, and I couldn't get the hang of it, so I started back on this side working in the diagonals from the left. It's more normal for me to start actually in the upper left hand corner when doing diagonals. Now I've decided that I love doing them on full coverage pieces, so that's the thing that's gonna start happening. But that is where she is. I've also decided that for May, because I have been so behind on this one, it is monogamous May for me, and this is what I've been working on, and I have been regretting my decision for the past week. A part of that is also having to do with life stuff. One of my genetic disorders, it acts a lot like gout. It's not gout, but I have a lot of the same type of symptoms, and it has been raining non-stop here in Florida, or it had been for about a week straight. So I could get as far as from the bed to my desk and then to the toilet. and that's it. I wear a Fitbit. My goal has been between 7,500 and 8,000 steps per day, and I had been reaching it. I was down to like 300 steps one day. It was awful. But the last 3 days has been sunny, so I'm back on my feet ish. I don't remember anything about what's in any of the bags or anything. So this is as much exploration for me as it is for all of you. Here we go. Mirabilia, Lady of Mystery. Let me hold that up over my face so y'all can see it. This is my first Mirabilia. And this was the first project that I started that had silk threads in it. So a lot of firsts. The Haid was my first Haid. The first time doing 2 over 1 tent stitch. By the way, that's 2 over 1 tent stitch on 28 count. And the first time doing diagonals. So there were a lot of firsts in that one, a lot of firsts in this one. This is going to be the first one that has beading in it as well. I haven't gotten that far yet. I also do not have my notebook that has all of the information about the fabrics and stuff on it, because I did not prepare. I just went to the shelf and grabbed a bunch of projects. This one I know is a 32 count linen from Forbidden Fiber Co. And I know this because it's the same count as was called for in the pattern. And it came from a Forbidden Fiber Co. Random pack of, yeah. And it's actually, the color's not showing well. It's a nice light kind of a lime green. Oh, it's washing out even worse when I go that way. The washout is real. I may actually take a picture of this one and post it on Instagram so that y'all can get a good idea of the color, because the colors just are not coming through today. But that's a lot of like the browns and the blacks that has been completed so far. I do have, I believe it's Lady in Red is the other Mirabilia that I have, and I do have all the beads and everything, and all of the called for flosses for both of those. And evidently a loose hair because I'm shedding. You're right. And then they get thrown on the floor. All right. Next up, just because this is the order that they're in on my shelf. Nothing special. This is not, I worked on this one first and this one next. No, this is just the order that they're stacked on my shelf. It's a long dog. Pavane for these times. This is the first long dog I've ever done. So this is, I'm doing a lot of firsts because I'm one of those people that I did cross stitch in the 80s and early 90s and then just gave it up and came back to it later. This is being done on 37 count Cloudburst Legacy linen, and that is not embroidery floss. I've said this on previous videos when I've shown this one, but that is actually a quilting thread. It's a Coats & Clark quilting thread, a nice variegated. I just really like the colors in it, and I thought that doing 1/2 full cross, it would look really good. And I do not plan out any of the pooling or anything like that. I'm just working it, but because the pattern is complex enough, the pooling is not really stripy or anything, and it's turning out really, really nice. And that is being kept in the package for, can I pull this out? I can. This stocking. I am working on doing stockings, 5 stockings. One for myself, one for my partner, who I call the man thing, one for his sister, and one for each of his parents. And this is obviously one of them. And it is the kit. All of the stockings are Dimensions kits. The only one that is not Gold Collection is the one that I'm doing for myself. But because they come in these nice handy plastic things, I didn't want to show you inside the plastic because of the glare. It's also a nice handy dandy place to stick this. Now looking at that pattern, there's not enough of it there to be able to do anything, but now looking at the pattern. And my phone is going off. I remember even what part of this I worked on. There's not a whole lot of it done. This is, there's a little bit of the sky left here, and I believe like right here. But this is like the top of the snowman's head. There's a bird on a branch over here. But what I worked on the last time I had it out was this area of the toe. Because it's like colored, it's hard to see, but yeah, that's okay. I'm one of those people, especially when I'm doing stockings on, specifically on Ada, and this is the Ada that came with the kit. I'm using everything in the kit. I will actually find the center of the stocking and then do an outline in pencil, because when I stitch it together, that outline will be hidden inside the stocking. I'm also not planning on using the felt for the backing. I actually have a quilting cotton, and I'll do the felt on the inside, on the back of this. So this will be covered with the felt, and then I'm going to quilt a backing using quilting cotton for each of the stockings so that they're just sturdier. There's less chance of the stitches coming out that way as well. I do back everything, all of my stitching, with iron-on interfacing to help keep the stitches secure. But also, if these stockings are something that are going to be used for the next, until I die, you know, they're going to have to be a little bit sturdier. This one in a nice, lovely project bag from Joann's. R.I.P. Joann's. I have no idea where I'm going to get half of my anything now. This is the Autumn is as Joyful. I am doing the stitch along, but I always forget to take pictures, and I forget to post them to Instagram, so I forget to use all the hashtags. But I'm participating. That counts for something, right? I am using a mix of DMC and Anchor, because Anchor was on sale when I bought all of the floss for this, so some of the colors are a little bit off. But here's where she sits. I actually like the darker colors, the darker greens and things on here. It makes the pinks and the yellows stand out a little bit more, which I really like. But we will see how it progresses and see whether I continue to like it. I've actually been kind of enjoying working on this sampler and working on the Long Dog. When I first started Flosstube, I put out there that I'm not a big fan of samplers. I don't really like doing them. But all of the samplers that I've done in the past have also been, you know, from the 80s and 90s, and were not the same as what you can find is what a lot of designers are putting out today. So the more modern samplers are a lot easier and a lot more joyful for me to work on, and I've been enjoying them a lot more. I may end up doing a lot more. I don't know. The only way to find out is to keep working and see how far I get. Now excuse me a moment. I'm getting a little bit froggy already. I'm questioning whether I'm going to be able to go back to work. Only way to find out is to try. All right. This one, and there is another one as well, is part of the, oh Lord. Laura Stitching by the Shore and I actually started this one together, and I can't think of it now. Lena Ova. That's it. Lena Ova Sal. This is Dracula. Now, I am not doing this quite like what you would normally expect, or what I would normally expect from me. I had some issues with the floss because I didn't buy enough, because I'm a historian, not a mathematician, and I can't math to figure out how much of it, everything I need. My own fault. This is the floss that I got for it. This is the Hocus Pocus colorway by Night Stalker's Calling. I actually really enjoy using this floss. It's really good quality. And I'm doing this on, where is the tag? Olympia Opal Lugana 32 count by Mystic Fabrics. Misty, I'm so sorry you're having so many problems. I really am. I was so cheering you on and getting the physical storefront and everything, and bro. Just bro. But because I'm running short on, or I will be short on floss, I'm doing, I can keep this folded in half. Like, this is a chunk in a fabric, and I love it. This is actually the first Lugana that I got, and it was also the first opal fabric that I got. It's very sparkly. It's very grungy looking, and it's actually what got me turned on to Lugana in the first place. I didn't think I would like working on it, but it feels really good. I stitch in hand most of the time. The only two things that I'm doing in a hoop right now are the Haid Cell and one from, I don't remember. I'll remember when I get there. I'll look it up or something. I've got my tablet here with my brain, y'all. Pattern Keeper. So I'll be able to look up on that. Stitch is so beautiful. That's the one. I'm going to go off on a little tangent here because, and I'm going to ask you, please let me know in the comments below, because this is my brain. This has been my brain for the last couple of years. It's just not, I'm recovering a little bit because I was off of my brain meds for about a week. I was out and I'm back on them now, so it's starting to clear up a little bit. But if you want me to start talking about like the planner system that I'm using, which is a combination of like 3 different things in 2 planners, one that I carry around and one that's basically the desk planner, because it really helps, let me know, because I can absolutely start doing videos on that as well. Anyway, back to Dracula. Because I know that I'm going to run out of floss, or I would if I kept doing the 2/2. I actually started doing 1/2 on part of it. You can tell the difference, like in the border especially. Like if you look at this part of the floral and this part of the little curlicues versus the one right next to it, you can tell the difference. And to me, it looks like it's just aged and worn. So to me, it gives it a really, really cool effect. So there are going to be places where I do the 1/2, and there's going to be places where I do the 2/2. I've been considering doing a couple of elements in just plain like 310. It just is contrast, but I'm really, really liking the way it's turning out. With this one, I think the border is an absolute necessity. I know a couple of the other people who are working on in the Lena Ova Sal that are participating along with Laura and I, and Laura herself, actually doing Lena Ova patterns without the borders, because the border is literally half the number of stitches in a lot of the pieces. It's a lot. They're huge. They're gorgeous, but they're huge. And I will be showing, I'm also doing Mary Poppins, which Laura is also doing, as well as a couple of other people I believe are doing that as well. I know a bunch of people are doing The Little Mermaid or Pride and Prejudice. There's a couple of different Jane Austen ones that have been done. I believe there's a Cinderella one. I think it's Cinderella. There's a whole bunch of them. I need to, again, taking notes. So, Lena Ova and Night Stalkers. Because I didn't do notes, I've already told you this. I literally just grabbed stuff off the shelf. Oh, in fact, look, it's Mary Poppins. This is what it'll look like when it's done. Evidently, because I had, just before the storms hit, I had actually recorded this, basically. But I was able to, and I had just recorded it, and I was trying to do just closed captions, because I literally could not talk. And I was trying to get music over the top of it, and it didn't record correctly, didn't port right. I had to update the drivers on the camera that I use. It was a whole hot mess. So I'm wondering if things are still in kind of the order that I had them in. But Mary Poppins. And this one, I am doing the border on it. If you want to see it without the border, again, Laura Stitching by the Shore, she had this out in, I believe it was her last video. Not the extra about the artist trading card exchange, which is really cool, by the way. I have participated, I think, once, and I've got plans for the next one coming up. So we'll see, we'll see, we'll see. I'm actually making my own pattern for the next one coming up. But she's doing it without the outer border, because as you can see, that outer border is a ginormous chonker. There is no question. So she's just doing the inner part, and it is lovely. This is fiber on a Whim pistachio, I believe it's 18 count. I don't know. I don't know what the count is. It's not on the tag. That's okay. This is fiber on a Whim pistachio, and it is being done with 939. I love the modeling on the fabric. This is actually, it's showing, the camera's showing the modeling fairly well today. It's not showing the colors, but of the flosses, but it's showing the modeling fairly well. And it is really nice to work with. It is a touch soft for the Ada, but I think I'm gonna, the next time I get fiber on a Whim, I think I'm gonna try to get some linen or some Lugana and see what that's like. It's just, for me personally, I like Ada to be stiff or stiffer, because when it's too soft, the threads in between the little holes can kind of split a little bit, and it makes it more difficult for me to stitch, because I just yeah. And that is being done 2/1 as well. All right, that's the pattern. So I'm not going to show the paper that's in here. I'll pull it up. You see nothing. All right, this is the Sally Kratos sampler. This is my personal stitch along I started for my spawning day. I tell people that I wasn't born, I was spawned, just kind of as a running joke because I don't like celebrating my birthday. So I just spawned randomly sometime in January. My poor mom, who I just got a text from her today for the first time in years, and I am so glad, so glad. But my poor mom had to go through labor with broken ribs because I did that to her. Yeah, I've been this way since before I was born. Sorry, y'all. But it is the Spawning Day Sal, which I will put in below. And this is the Sally Kratos sampler. I have redone all of the colors. A lot of the reproduction samplers that are available, they have the muted colors because the colors have faded over the years. And I tried to look at the muted colors that were shown and bring it back to what the colors might have actually been when it was first stitched. And this is what I've got. This is being done on... It's a linen that I got off of a D-Stash page on Facebook. So I don't remember the count. It is written down somewhere. And all of these are Aversois silks, which I can, if you're interested, I can give you the numbers for them. I know they're also listed on previous videos as well. The yellow is obnoxious and I love it. The red is also going to be obnoxious and I love it. It's in the bag. All right. Good. These, I apologize for the glare, are the colors, and then that bright yellow. So, but the idea behind the hashtag is I'm trying to get out of this apartment and into a house. So if you want to stitch along with me for the Spawning Day Sal, anything that has house on it, just help me build a house. And it's going to be an ongoing thing until I actually get into a house, which, you know, maybe the day I die. I don't know at this point. Things are very up in the air. Okay. This one, the project bags that you're seeing, by the way, I made all of these. I keep saying I'm going to be putting them up on Etsy, and I'm too lazy to actually do it. If you're interested, yell at me. Yell at me on Instagram. Get a hold of me privately there or on any of my Instagram posts. I don't care. Yell at me here in the comments. It will help boost, you know, let people know that I live and the channel exists and will help boost viewership. I don't care. Yell at me. This one is Baba Yaga's Hut. This is one of the oldest projects that I have since I restarted doing cross stitch. It's this one and the Headless Horseman, which I don't remember the name of the Headless Horseman. The pattern. I'm not there yet. I'll be getting there soon, but I'm firing the tablet up so that, you know, I have that information available. But this is Baba Yaga's Hut. I originally thought I was going to get it done for Halloween last year, and then I didn't because stitchers lie to ourselves all the time, and it generally takes 3 times as long as anyone expects because, you know, we can't just sit and stitch for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is where she is. I have been working on filling in a lot of the grays in the trees over here and then towards the bottom by the chicken feet. So it's starting to fill in a little bit. It's not nearly as blank as it was. I've also done quite a bit of the grays. There are 2 grays that I've worked on in the hut itself, like around the folding, around, let's see, the top window, like that area, and up through here and into the steeple. I've done quite a bit of that, and along the roof line, as well as filling in quite a bit of the trees over here and this whole area of the ground. But it's a lot of grayscale. It's the only color that's in there that's not grayscale is the very, very pale pink in the moon. This is 18 count white Ada, and I used pencil to put in the grid lines, which I know is terrible and I shouldn't have done it, but I did. Bad me. I'll live with it. Alright, and that is what is on shelf 1. I am going to fade out and come back in again. I'm going to get a drink, replace these on the shelf, and get the ones off of the second shelf. I have Calax units, the ones from IKEA that are like the squares, and that's where I keep all of my projects in. So I will be. And we're back. Hello! I do not have a start on this one, but I did want to show it to you, just to show that yes, I do have 5 stockings that will be in the works. This is unopened, but this is one of them that I'm going to be doing. This one is going to be for my father-in-law. Proof it exists. Boom. And we will go ahead and continue with stockings. I'm not going to take any of the rest of these out of the plastic packaging, so I'm going to apologize for the glare now, because it's going to keep happening. I'm sorry. There we go. This one is going to be for my sister-in-law. She is very religious and actually works for the Catholic Church, and has worked for them since graduating college. She went to a church college, Catholic college. This doesn't have a whole lot of a start. Ta-da! It counts. It's still a start. You can tell that there's like something there. There's like stars. Look at that. Ooh, and some like right in there. Ah! But that's the start that I've got on this one so far. July, I am going to dedicate Christmas in July to nothing but the stockings. I want to see how far I can get. I don't think I'll have them done for this year. I wanted to, but it's not going to happen. I'm not going to lie to myself that much. Today. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe in July. I don't know. This is the one. Ooh, bad glare, I'm sorry. There we go. This is the one that I'm doing for the man thing. And this one has quite a bit more progress on it. The vast majority of the sky is complete, except for like that little blurb right there. And you can see that I've started going down into where the hills are, and there's the steeple of the church, and down into the church, some of the trees and things there. So, working on it. And yes, his name is Joe. Hey. That is where that stands. Like I said, these are going to be all making an appearance in July. And I'm thinking I'm going to see if I can get the next one done. The next one is one for myself. I'm going to see if I can get that one done in June so that each week of July I can focus on one of the other stockings. I have no idea how that's going to work out, but that's okay. This is the only one that was not Dimensions Gold. This is a standard Dimensions kit. And this was the one that nobody else wanted. So it's mine. This one actually has the most work on it because there was a hurricane that came through last summer right after the box with all the kits came in. And this was the one that I grabbed, and so it's what I worked on while the power was out, and we were at the in-laws for days with no power. So it's got quite a bit more done on it than anybody else's. The name band actually goes up here at the top. But as you can see, the vast majority of it is complete. There's like a couple little trees up here. There's a little band down here, a little band up here, and then the people that are skating. So I should be able to get this knocked out in June and be done with it so that I can concentrate on everybody else's in July. I actually really like that little tree there though with all the lights in it and stuff. I think it's pretty.
It's pretty.
So we will see. I've also got all of the supplies needed. I did the Creepy Christmas Village ornament set. Was it last year? Year before? I'd been working on it for a while, but I finally got that finished. And there's also the Christmas Cryptids set. I have the patterns and everything for that. And all the supplies. I just haven't started it yet. Because I'm that person, and that's the type of... Did you know? Speaking of being that person and that being the type of decorations that I would put up. The mall goth store that I'm blanking on right now. They have the black heart fingernail polish and stuff that comes in the skull-shaped bottles. Those fingernail polish bottles will fit on Christmas tree lights. That is the thing I found out, and I have been taking full advantage of. Hot Topic, that was the name of the store. Telling y'all, my brain is not braining. Sleepy Hollow, that's the name of this one. Sleepy Hollow, and this was done by I believe it's Raven Stitch Craft. All of the information, I'll get all of the information for all of these and from previous videos, and I'll gather all of that up and put it all in the comments down below. The same person that did Baba Yaga's Hut. I bought them at the same time, started them at the same time. This one, Baba Yaga's Hut, was for me. This one was for the Man Thing because he really likes the Headless Horseman. I've also used this as part of the Pumpkin Birthday Sal, hashtag Pumpkin Birthday Sal, which is something that Laura, Stitching by the Shore, puts on every year because her birthday is in October and she likes pumpkins. And you know, his head is kind of a pumpkin, so that works out well. But I've been working back and forth on this one. The last time I showed it, I think between then and now, I've worked on the browns up here, because those are all browns. A lot of it looks orange, but it's more browns than orange. And then working up kind of through here, there's some browns in him, which maybe they'll show if I bring them closer. But that's what I had been putting in. I am to the point with this one that I'm using all the called for DMC, both on this one and on Baba Yaga's Hut. I keep forgetting to say. I'm so sorry. But I'm at the point with this one that I will pick a symbol that butts up to what's already complete and work on that symbol until I don't want to anymore, or until it gets confusing to count out that number of stitches to wherever it needs to be. Like for example, if I picked a color that butts up right down here in the bottom here, and I start working on that, and it comes through, and then there's like, it skips 15 or 20 stitches and comes up this direction, that's where I'm going to stop and then pick the next color and work my way out, or move up to this area and work my way out, or whatever. It's just what makes sense to me doing this at this point. I know this fabric is also 18 count white Aida, and I know that because it's a piece of the other Aida that I started Baba Yaga's hut on. So that's where this one is. And of course, it went into a Christmas gnome bag because that was the bag that I had for it at the time. It's fine. It's fine. This is fine. I'll hang it up at Christmas. I don't care. I'll hang it up year round. All right, we have Erica Michaels' Be Like a Crow. This is how I live my life. So you can see it, kind of. Oh, come on, there you go. And it reads, be like a crow, collect shiny things, hop happily down the street for no apparent reason, scream loudly when you see your friends. This is good life advice, y'all. Be an obnoxious little bird and find the joy in life. Right? Okay. I had actually been looking for this pattern for a while. I found it on 123stitch.com. And any of you who shop on 123stitch know that a lot of the patterns you can go, when you put them in your basket you go to checkout, off to the side there's an add everything you need. And that's what I did. So I'm using all of the called for everything. I did not read the instructions before I started, because why would you read the instructions? So I did run out of the mascara, and I have been substituting, what is it, Black Crow? It's not the Thread Works. I have the Thread Works in here. Where are you? Gentle Art Black Crow, which is almost the same color as mascara, but it's got more of a blue tint to it. You can kind of see, throwing things, excuse me. You can kind of see where exactly where that change was made, especially in this lighting. You can see it's like right there next to the E, and going that way, and then the entire crow. But it's really not bad, and it does not stand out that much in person. So other than that, everything is all the called for. There is plenty of this fabric left for me to be able to do everything else in there, because it's an Erica Michaels pattern. It's a whole collection of really cool crow related stuff. And a lot of it is just things from this and that have been reworked into like the berries and things like that. But this has been, I can't say it's been an absolute pleasure to work on, but I'm going to really enjoy having it in my house. And I'm not quite sure why it hasn't been as enjoyable as some of the other things that I've been working on. I don't know. I don't know. I think it might be all the words. I don't know that I actually like doing the words. I know a lot of people really, really do and look forward to doing that. I don't know that I do, and I think that may be the largest part of the problem. Because I did enjoy like doing the crows, I enjoyed doing the little curly Q, I enjoyed doing this guy. I don't know. It's fine. Okay. Ooh, this one, this is from Banana Patterns. I think it's called Dark Forest 2. Hold on. Yes, Dark Forest 02. And this was on my Etsy wish list, and a friend of mine purchased the pattern for me, and I started working on it, and I have gotten not very far. Sorry, Eric. And I'm actually going to have to, because it's really tall, I'm going to have to get a second piece of fabric and join them together when I get down that far, which is fine. I've done that before. But did I get all the way across? Did you? Excuse me as I scroll through Pattern Keeper. I did. That is the entire width. Cool. But yes, so this is where I'm at. This is the entire width, and of course it's going to be like long. I'm not sure what the dimensions are, but it looks to be at least twice as long as it is wide, so it's okay. It's okay. But it is absolutely a beautiful pattern. It went into Pattern Keeper like an absolute dream, and has been really soothing to stitch on. I just haven't pulled it out very much. I also do not have all the floss that I need for it. There have been a lot of financial difficulties over the last few years, which I'll talk about here in a little bit. Because things are getting better. But I was not able to fully kit up. And I was getting a couple of skeins at a time. So there have been a few difficulties in getting everything together for this one, but it'll happen. It will happen. Alright, and then one more project that I've been working on, one more WIP. And this is Boomerang Stitch's Great White Christmas. I did not know that I needed a Great White Christmas themed anything in my life until I saw it. I sent the link for the pattern on Etsy to the Man Thing, and he told me I was getting it. He told me that if I wasn't going to buy it, that he was, and he was going to give it to me so that I could stitch it for him. So I had no choice in the matter. It was terrible. He helped me twist my arm to spend money on Etsy. Oh no. Oh no. But there is a hashtag for this. This is Santa Jaws Sal, I believe is what the hashtag is. Again, it'll be down below. This one has been driving me absolutely bonkers because I'm doing it on 40 count and I can't see it. I'm doing it 1/2. The floss that I'm using is Toasted Marshmallow, and this is another one of the Forbidden Fiber Co. from that grab bag. I'm actually doing this opposite from what has been charted. The way the chart is, the background is supposed to be the lighter color and the stitches are supposed to be the darker color. But I got the pattern and I looked at this fabric and I thought, nah fam, this is like the best use of this fabric ever. So this has been ongoing for a while, and we're slowly getting there. One day I'll get it done, but I don't think that I will ever work on 40 count again. My poor little eyeballs can't handle it. It's just not okay. I appreciate that a lot of people really do like working on 40 count, 42 count, etc. Not for me. Not for me. I can do 36. I can do 38 a little bit more comfortably, but it's not comfortable. The 40 count actually hurts my eyes and causes eye strain. Part of that might be that I need new glasses again, but hey. I've been having problems with this since I got this prescription as well, so I don't think that's it. Anyway, that is the entirety of my stitching. Those are all the works in progress. I do have a couple of things. I have some plans for what could be considered the 4 seasons. I do have the Jardin Privé 4 seasons that I'm going to be doing. I also have, I'll put up here, they are stained glass, or stained glass looking. And there is, I forgot I had the Luna Moth pattern. Ooh. I'm having to rethink. But there's sunflowers and pumpkin for autumn. The stained glass poppy field for summer. The stained glass fox 2 for spring. And now I'm wondering if I should do the stained glass bat, because hello, have you seen me? Have you met me? Have you seen half of what I work on? Or whether I should do the stained glass moon and moth. But moths really aren't a thing in winter though, so I don't know. Give me opinions. Let me know. But those are all things that I have and that I'm going to be working on at some point. I don't have anything kitted up. I don't have any fabric for them. Nothing like that. Let's see, what else do I have? I do have the other memorabilia that I told you about. I missed one. Rewind. There you are. The Stitch is So Beautiful one. My goodness. I was talking about it earlier. This is The Beauty in the Underworld by Ada Jose Rosa. Charted by Stitch is So Beautiful. And this is what I have done so far. The vast majority of this is 310. Like, there is no question. The vast majority of this is 310. I have started getting into this whole area here is grays, and up there's some brown up here. If I turn it the right direction, it helps. Skirp. Y'all, I can't. My brain is not braining. I am so sorry. But evidently I am also human and make mistakes. All of the rumors about being encrypted are obviously false. But there's a lot of gray, up, like I said, up in there. there's like a brown column. You can see right there, there's the first little skull peeking through. I was so happy. I was so proud of myself for getting to that first little skull.
You're so cute.
But if I bring it up closer, you can see some of the color in there. This is probably about a little over halfway down. Halfway is about right there, I think, down. And then I'd say this is actually about the halfway point. So it's taking time, but I am using, this one is fully kitted, and I am using all the called for TNC 2/1 tint. And I'm kind of working in diagonals, but also I'm using the diagonals as guidelines along with the pre-gridded fabric to be able to keep my stitch count correct and where the stitches need to be, but I'm kind of wandering as well. It's a weird thing, but it's working for me. Anyway, I do have a couple of other patterns. I'm looking for a nice kind of a deep purple fabric for the steampunk insects. I'm just going to put one of them up here. It's a series of 5 that I know of, and I have all 5 of them, but I'm looking for a nice purple fabric to do them on. I think it would look really nice with all the grays and the gold colors. I've got a couple of other, like I've got a cemetery, I've got Dracula's castle, I have botanically accurate strawberries. Let's see, what else do we have? I'm also looking for, and this is going to be the rough one because I'm on a very limited budget, but I bought this Shades of Red, and I'd like to do that for my in-laws. But I don't want to do it on black. The problem is it's freaking huge. I am going to need like a 36 by 52. It's not, I'm going to need a full yard of fabric on 25 count. This is not a small project. I have most of the flosses for it. I got them when Joann's first announced the bankruptcy and started throwing everything on sale. Some of the flosses were out, so I didn't get all of them, but I got most of them. But I will need a good fabric. I'm thinking, again, like a blue, something that looks kind of subtle, so it looks like they're up against the sky, but that will also go with those colors because they're actually fairly muted colors. It doesn't look like it, but most of them are fairly muted. So I'm looking for that. And then I've got Dapper Chap, which I'm looking forward to doing because I want him in my home. And a gnarly old tree, and a folk art alligator, which, y'all, I live in Florida. The man thing is a native Floridian. You know there's got to be a gator somewhere in our house. It just has to happen. But that's what I have. That's what's available. That's what I have planned. At some point eventually. I won't get to any of these anytime soon, but they're in the works. There's plans in place there. The biggest issue, and this is going into more real life stuff, is that a lot has happened over the past like 4 years. And just touching on it, I have had 3 surgeries in the past 4 years. I've missed a lot of work. Because of that, I was laid off once, technically twice, both times because of company downsizing. The first time I was already on medical leave, so it wasn't, that's fine. The second time I clocked into work and was pulled into a meeting with my manager in HR and was told, by the way, bye. But it was also the entire, everybody that had that job title was cut. I have, like I said earlier, I have started work elsewhere. I got literally halfway through the training process, and then, so I'm going to have to probably pick up the training process from that point and move forward. I am going to have to talk to my manager about that and see what's going on there and what the options are there, or whether I'm just going to be thrown directly into production. Either way, I'll get by. I got this. But because of all of this, and the things that we still need to do, like keep a roof and eat and things like that, confession time, I maxed out all of my credit cards, and because of interest, all of them went over the credit limit. I have 5 of them, and they all went over the credit limit, and it got rough. I have spoken to all of the credit card companies. I am on payment plans with all of them. 3 of them are back to current and under the credit limit and on auto pay. So I have 2 more that I need to get paid down a little bit further, but it's coming along nicely. Like, this has been done over the past 3 months. Honestly, I started being able to make payments on them my first day of work was March 10th, and we got paid for 1 week on our first paycheck. So so like, this has been in literally like less than 2 months I have been able to get that far. Everything else is caught up. All of the utilities are now on auto pay, and I'm able to do that without stress on the finances. So there's a lot of work has been done in the background. But that does mean I am still on a spending moratorium, so I can't. That fabric that I got from Needleworks with Jim was actually purchased prior to this. And I'm sure you can hear it. My voice is starting to go. It's getting croaky and crackly. I have been talking now for a little over an hour, which is honestly better than I thought I would do. So it's a win. It's a win. That's where things are. So I will not be able to get to a lot of those other projects that I have plans for a while. Except for the Mirabilia is fully kitted, so I could start that. And there was another one that I forgot. It's over on the shelf. It's another sampler, but it's like, I think it's the one with the vulture on a pumpkin. I forget, but that is one that I also purchased fully kitted. But I mean, you also see there's a lot of stuff behind me that I could point out. Like all the buttons that need to be sorted that will never be sorted because I'm that person. That's for socks. These are for crocheting like collars and stuff, because I am making a capsule wardrobe, so I could be working on the capsule wardrobe. Capsule wardrobe is also stuff that I can wear to work and still be okay, because history bounding is a thing. Whoop. Oh, that's all Dungeons and Dragons, both of these boxes. I have a thing of stickers and some postcards and some, and this is all fabric for sewing, quilting. I've got all that going on. Oh, what is in this one? I think that is also fabric. Pretty sure that's also fabric. I also have paper crafting stuff. I mean, there's the last 2 days I have spent, I didn't do it today because I'm tired, but the last 2 days I have spent literally pulling everything out of the kitchen cabinets and the pantry and doing a deep clean. Once I get the kitchen done, the next one is going to be the bathroom, and I'm hoping to have the bathroom done by the time I go back to work. So like there's a lot going on. I'm keeping busy, and that does help with extending how long it will need to be before I get itchy and need something different to do with my hands. I'm also teaching myself how to tat, because why not? There are tatting patterns for free on the internet, and I have shuttles. So I've also been knitting socks, which I've done for years, but I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot going on. So anyway, my voice is starting to fail, obviously. Croak. There's also been other things that have been happening in the background as well. Recently, there have been 2 deaths in the Man-Things family, so we've been dealing with that. There have been some medical issues with a cousin of some variety, local, so a lot of care has been put on his family, and because we are local to his family, not mine, that's a whole thing. My dad is having some medical issues. It was a bit touch and go there for a couple of days, but he's home and now has an oxygen tank, and is kicking. So he's doing better. But that was a worry there for a while. I have had confirmation, because I think the last video I posted was right after we found out that my mom was in the hospital, and she is back home. She chose to take advantage of home hospice care, but I did get a text. The hospice person that comes to help her out helped to text me earlier today. So that's the thing. My new favorite, Uncle John. Hi, Uncle John. I gave him the link to this channel, and he said that he's been watching some of the videos. And again, Uncle John, if you want to pass on any of my information to the rest of the family, please do. I do want to reach out. I do want to get into contact with everybody. I did not have the opportunity to grow up with any of you in my life for like my entire life. So this is new and exciting, and I want to take advantage of the opportunity, even if it may not have seemed like it for the last, month, because there's just been everything happening. And on that note, I am going to end the video. I do have to get ready. I have to prep food so that we can just throw it in the oven. I know this evening the Man-Thing and I are planning on going to the gym as soon as he gets home from work, because I'm able to do that, and I've missed over a week of workouts. We've been going at least twice a week up until everything swelled up because of the weather, and it has been amazing. Holy crow. I've been loving it. We found a gym. We go to one of the local crunch gyms, and it has been so good. It's one of those that people aren't sitting there and staring at you. They're not judging you. People leave you alone. We've had a couple of times where we go and we start, if it's a little bit crowded, we'll find a little corner and start our workout, and we do like half of our workout together, and then we split off and each do our separate thing, because we are at very different places as far as what we can do physically. but we've started off, and if we're a little bit too close, or if somebody's walked away or wandered away from where their stuff is, they'll come back over and I'm sorry, let me move my stuff over a little bit, leave you some more room. It's been good. All of the people there have been amazing. Everybody that works there is great. We took advantage of the one free session with the trainer when we signed up. And we fill out the paperwork so they get an idea of what you're working with, what you're working against, and what your short-term goal and long-term goal is. I told the trainer that we worked with that my short-term goal is to be able to walk for 3 miles straight without having to stop by the end of the year. Right now I can't do that. I am disabled. It is a freaking problem. And then the long-term goal was literally, I wrote down babushka. And we went in there and she was reading this off and she's like, okay, so your long-term goal is babushka. And I said, yes, babushka. And she said, okay, we will get you to be the one carrying the log on one shoulder. You will be strong like bear. And I was like, yes, you get me. That's exactly what I want. So, and it's been like that ever since. Just amazing people. They are some of the other trainers I've heard working with other people, and if the person they're working with is super serious, they are super serious. If the person that they're working with likes to joke around, they joke around. If you have any questions about any of the equipment, the trainers are always there and will be able to help you. The people that work at the desk, will be able to help you with a lot of them as well, because they're also gym rats. Like, it's been good. I lied about ending the video, obviously. We actually I was sitting here and the living room window is right there. Like, I do this and it's 3 feet from the end of my hand. I was sitting here earlier and I had the blinds open, and a couple of the maintenance people came by and they were like sitting there with the phone. And I opened the window. I was like, hi! And they were like, I'm sorry, we were just admiring. Because in the apartment complex, we can't put plants into the ground. It's against the rules, which is fine and very understandable. So I have like the storage tubs, the 13-gallon storage tubs. And we drilled some holes in the bottom. And they're all non-toxic plastic. So we drilled some holes in the bottom, and I got, I don't know, like 5 or 6 bags of potting soil, and filled them with potting soil. And I started out with just nothing but vegetables, and not all of them made it because that's how gardening goes. I did find out that there is a species of rhubarb that will grow into Central Florida, and I have 2 rhubarb plants that are doing really, really well. I'm looking forward to being able to harvest them in a couple of years, because it does take 2 or 3 years for them to get established, and they're in one container. One container has all the vegetables, because that's the only container where the vegetables actually survive. So in one 13-gallon container, they are crowded, but they're doing awesome. There is a pumpkin plant it's had blossoms for probably 2 months. There's 2 cucumber plants that have been producing cucumbers. There is a tomato plant that has probably a dozen tomatoes on it right now, and they're all starting to ripen. There were 3 bean plants in there, but they're done and have shriveled already. I got, a handful of green beans off of those before they shriveled. One container has a dill plant in it and spearmint, because I'm a terrible person and both of those will drop seeds everywhere, and even though I didn't put the plants in the ground, that doesn't mean they're not going to be plants in the ground. And then last week, week before I was at, I think it was Lowe's, and I was looking for planters for that, specifically self-watering planters that have a really deep reservoir for my carnivorous plants, because they need more water than what I'm able to give them with the equipment that I have, and they're not doing well. And instead of getting a planter for my carnivorous plants, I found foxgloves, like 6-inch pot foxgloves or 5-inch pot foxgloves, on sale for $4 because they had gotten the flowering stems had gotten damaged during shipping. So now the other 2 containers I have 4 foxglove plants, and then I got 2 sensitive plants. They're the ones that you touch them and the leaves like and they shrink up into themselves, because those have been naturalized here and they're awesome. So the maintenance guys, they were like, we were just admiring, because they were like on a video call with somebody and showing off the tomatoes and showing off all the vegetables that I had in this container. It was adorable. But they're like, yeah, we were just looking, we were admiring, we were showing somebody else here. I'm like, that's okay. I was just hoping that, you know, if you were taking video or something to get famous on the internet, man, you're stealing my internet fame. And they started laughing at me. Anyway, that is my life. I'm gonna cut it off there. Again, my voice is going further. Hopefully, because I have been able to talk this long. It's been almost an hour and a half, which is stupidly impressive for right now, and gives me hope. But hopefully I will be able to start uploading more and doing more. I likely will, instead of doing a Flosstube in 2 weeks, because I am doing Monogamous May, and the only thing that I'm working on is the Heaven and Earth Designs stitch along. I will probably do like some deep cleaning cleanup video or something similar instead, but knocking on wood, I'm going to be back up to the bi-weekly posting. So in the meantime, thank you all so much for sticking in there with me and hanging in there for this freaking long video. I appreciate each and every one of you. I love you all, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.